Hey everyone, it's Hannah. Today I have an eyeshadow tutorial video for you using the Blend Bunny Cosmetics Longing Palette. So I really hope you enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. Let's get into the look. This is my first Blend Bunny Cosmetics palette. These are the colors inside. I got a really good deal on this and I'm really excited to use it. They're all cool tones in this palette. I'm going to go in first with this shade right here called Dear Diary on a fluffy blending brush, the shade Dear Diary. And I have concealer on my eyelids that I have not set yet. I'm just going to start by patting that from the middle of the eye out. And then slowly in circles, I'm going to start blending the edges. Same thing on this eye, we're just going to pat that shade first and then start blending. Sometimes I will start with the darkest color first and blend it out with a lighter color, but this is my first time using this palette and I want to see how the formulas are, how pigmented everything is. Blend Bunny shadows are supposed to be really pigmented, really blendable. I'm going to take the shade Old Photographs right here on a small blending brush. I'm going to pat that on the outer corner. And kind of press it into the crease when you have less pigment on your brush. And we'll get that color on the other eye as well. Same like small pressing motions to pack the color on. Because I do have hooded eyes, I need to take the color up higher because when my eyes are open, it pretty much disappears. Okay. We're going to go back to that first blending brush and lightly blend the edges of that deeper color. That's blending really smoothly. And then the same on this eye. Small circles at the very edge of the color because we want to keep the depth right here. I think I need a little bit more of the deep shade on this outer corner. I don't think I went up quite as high as I did on this eye over here. So I'm just going to lightly add just a little bit more. That first blending brush again. I think I want to pick up a little bit more of the Dear Diary shade. Just a little bit. And I think I want to use this shimmer right here and this duochrome down at the bottom. It's purple and blue. So those are the shades Remember and Love Letters. So I'm going to get a shader brush, and with this brush I'm going to pick up the shade Love Letters. That is such a beautiful shimmer shade. And I'm just going to pick up a little bit at first. And I think I want to put this right in the middle of my eye. That has such a beautiful shift and sparkle. And I barely picked up any of that shade. And see when my eyes are open, the color disappears. So I'm going to take it higher than my actual eyelid. So it's going to be up in the crease. That way we can see it. And the same on the other side. I'm just placing the color and doing little swiping motions to make sure it really sticks down, but I'm not having to work hardly at all. Some shimmer shades can be really hard to pick up with a brush. Okay. So now I'm going to take a little tiny blending brush and back into the shade Dear Diary, which is the first lighter shade that we used, and just lightly go around the edges right here. To kind of blend the shimmer and the initial color we laid down. Then on a different shader brush, I'm going to pick up the shade Remember and put that right next to it. That is super, super sparkly. And again, I barely picked up any on my brush. I'll go back and forth between those. I'm going to pick up a little bit more and go over to this eye. And I'm doing the same press and slight swiping motions to get that pigment on before I start spreading it out. Okay, I do have a couple little shimmer particles, but they came right off with my powder puff, and I always do my base before my eyes, so that's kind of a risk you take. Just going to make sure this is up high enough right here. That's super shimmery on the lid. I think I want a little bit more depth on the outer corner, so I'm going to take this shade right here, which is the shade Heartbreak, on a tiny pencil brush, and just put a little bit of that right there. And then I'm going to take that brush, the same small blending brush, and just kind of pat. I don't want to spread that color too far, but I just wanted a little bit more. And then I'm going to go back in with the shade Love Letters and kind of work it very lightly. And I just picked up a tiny bit of product right in between the light shade and this shade. I picked up a little bit more of the shade Heartbreak on an angle brush with the taller part of the angle facing towards my ear. I'm going to press that on the outer part of my eye. I'm going to run that on my lower lash line as well. Same on the other eye. On a tiny shader brush, I'm going to take some of the Dear Diary shade and just lightly buff at that dark shade. Just a little bit. I don't want it going too far underneath my eye. And then with a little bit more of Heartbreak, for my wings, since I have uneven hoods, I find it easiest to go out from the lower lash line and then connect instead of trying to come out and over like a typical wing, because when I open my eyes, they're never even. Now I'm taking the taller part of the brush, where the angle is the highest, towards my nose. And I'm just going to slowly work it out. Very light pressure. A little bit more of that shade. Now I'm going to close my eye and go right at the very outer part and connect it to that stamp that we did, that line right here. I feel like if the thickest part of the wing meets with the underneath, it doesn't cover up as much of the eyeshadow as if it's thickest on the outer corner. So I will connect it at the bottom. Other eye, same thing. From underneath the lower lash line like that. Then close your eye and connect it right here at the very outer part of your eye. And I'm using very light, small motions with the taller part of the angle to flick out. I'm going to take a little tiny brush and a little bit more of the shade Remember. Pop that in the inner corner on the brow bone. I'm going to try to buff that out. And your powder puff that you use with a little bit of powder still on it really helps with loose shimmer particles. And I'm just going to connect the inner corner swoop right here, curve of my eye. Same thing on this side. Okay, and that is the eyeshadow done. That's my first look with the Blend Bunny Longing palette. Here are the shades again. And that was really enjoyable to work with. I'm very excited for the other looks I can get out of this palette. I love cool tone browns and greens. These are kind of like swampy greens. I'm really excited for those, but these blues and teals and purples, I have some purple in my eyeshadow palette collection, but I don't really have anything like those other colors. So I'm really excited for that. So to finish off the eyes, I'm going to tightline the upper waterline with my Wet n Wild retractable eyeliner. This is the breakup proof one in Blackest Black. Just going to run that very lightly on the upper lash line. I'm going to do my brows really quick. So I just brush them up. Express brow gel in black brown. This is my favorite. I keep my eyebrow routine very simple. Curl my lashes and put on 2 coats of my favorite mascara. This is the Maybelline Lash Sensational Body Mascara, the waterproof version in Very Black. Just going to curl my eyelashes. And we're going to do 2 coats of mascara. You'll have to let me know. There are so many beautiful Blend Bunny palettes. With that same palette, I also bought the Bella Beauté Bar Unoriginal Nudes. I got a really good deal on those secondhand, but you'll have to let me know, what are your favorite Blend Bunny palettes? What color stories do you like the best from the brand? Do you have any of the original launches? I just saw that she redid the original Blends palette, and I don't have a rainbow palette, so that would probably be the one I would want, because you could do so much with that. But you'll have to let me know if you have the original. Did you pick up the updated one? What are your thoughts on that? Also, do you have the Longing palette? I know it's not a new launch. I think it came out 2 years ago, but it's really, really pretty, and I'm so impressed with the quality and how little eyeshadow I had to use, especially the shimmers. Some shimmers are so difficult to pick up on a brush, and that is my preferred way to put on shimmer eyeshadows. I know some people prefer your fingers, but my preferred way is with a brush. I feel like I have more control over the eyeshadows that way. But I'm really, really impressed with the quality. So I'm just doing a very light, quick second coat of mascara. Okay, that is the eye look done. For the lip combo to finish this look, I'm going to use the LA Colors Gel Lip Liner in the shade Better Than Bare, and the Wet n Wild Matte Lipstick in the shade Skinny Dipping. So I'm just going to start in the middle of my bottom lip, underneath, connect it to the corner, and fill in the sides. And starting in the middle of my cupid's bow right here, up and over, connect it to the corner, and fill in this corner, up and over. I just recently got this lip liner at my local dollar store, and I really, really like it. The color is nice, the formula glides on, it lasts a pretty long time, and then I've always really liked these Wet n Wild lipsticks. And I'm just going to put that right in the center, blend it a little bit with the lip liner. Go around the edges just a little bit. And that's the lip combo finished. So this is the completed makeup look. I really hope you enjoyed this video and this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.